The top drivers are Michael Jones, Andrew Tuttle, and Hunter Hoyt.
Brent, I got the live stream going, by the way.
After 1 minute 31 seconds, the top drivers are Michael Jones, Andrew Tuttle, and Hunter Hoyt.
All right, 2:20 on the clock. Caution sweeper, caution sweeper. Stay inside, stay inside. Clear.
After 2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers
Andrew,
are Michael
don't scratch
Jones,
the new
Andrew
body.
Tuttle, and Hunter Hoyt.
At least you have 2 of them, right? All right, 1:40 on the clock. Caution after Chad,
After 2
caution
minutes
after Chad.
31 seconds, the top drivers are Michael Jones, Andrew Tuttle, and Hunter Hoyt. One minute left. After 3 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Michael Jones, Andrew Tuttle, and Hunter Hoyt.
Caution straightaway, caution straightaway.
45 seconds left.
Clear.
.30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Michael Jones, Andrew Tuttle, and Hunter Hoyt. .15 seconds left.
10 seconds on the clock. Caution over at Karen, caution over at Karen. Clear. All right, keep going until she calls you done.
Andrew Tuttle done.
All right, just need Michael to go across the line. All right, that's a
drivers
race.
are finished.
Drop
Michael
your cars
Jones
off, get
done.
right back out to Marshall.
The race is completed.
13.5 four-wheel drive is up. It's a call out. Yeah.
Hang on, am I looking at the wrong thing?
What?
But sportsman, buggy was heat
No. 21.5 is heat 3.
Dan Jefferson,
Are you looking at the right day?
2. DX Underground.
Ryan Johnson, Vince Lim, Chad Kramer, The Dr. Love, Old Guys Rule. Todd Murray.
All right, we may break this up into 2 heats. We'll see how this round goes. We got checks on everyone. Let's go ahead and get lined up on the straightaway. Gonna need a couple volunteer marshals for this one. Order's gonna go Haas, Eric, Chad, Vince, Ryan, Dan, and Todd. Again, there was someone I missed. Again, like every heat probably today, I'll have missed at least one person, it looks like. Yeah, so if it's too much, we'll separate that into 2 for the next round. I need 2 marshals. I need someone down at the start of the straightaway, please, and someone, another person in the middle. Yeah, if I could get 2 volunteer marshals, please. 2 volunteer marshals. Graydon, can I get you to go out to the middle, please? Oh, you're up next? All right, thank you, Brent. Yeah, Brent, I'll have you at the Protect banner at the start of the straightaway, please. Again, order's going to go Haas, Eric, Chad, Vince, Vince, Ryan, Dan, and Todd. Brent's going. All right. Think that should do it. All right, drivers ready. Marshall's ready. Haas on the tone. Here we go. Eric, Chad, Vince, Ryan, Dan, Todd. Caution after Chad, caution before Chad, caution before chicane. Clear.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Old Guys Rule, Dan Jefferson, and the Dr. Love.
All right, after the first minute here, we have Dan out on the 1, Eric on the 2, Chad on 3, Haas on the 4, Vince the 5, Ryan on 6, Todd on 7. Eric out 17.408. He's the only one on a 17-lap pace right now. Gap between 1 and 2,
After
1.4 seconds back.
The top drivers are Old Guys Rule, Chad Kramer, and the Dr. Love.
Ryan moving up to the 5 spot. Vince on the 6, Todd on the 7. Chad and Eric battle to watch right now. Gap between them is 1.3 seconds. Eric on the 1, Chad on the 2. Haas now up to 3, Dan on the 4, Ryan on the 5, Vince on the 6, Todd on the 7.
After 1 minute 30 seconds, the top drivers are Old Guys Rule, Chad Kramer, and Dan Jefferson.
Caution sweeper, caution sweeper, caution sweeper, clear. All right, 2:15 now on the clock. Eric on the 1, Dan moves up to the 2, Chad on 3, Haas on the 4, Ryan on the 5, Vince on the 6, Todd on the 7. Caution after Karen, clear. Gap between 1 and 2, 1.1 seconds now.
Left. The top drivers are Old
Dan
Guys
trying
Rule,
to close
Dan
that gap.
Jefferson, and the Dr. Love.
Got about half track's length between the two of them right now. Dan now 0.7 seconds back. That's the closest battle watch. Everyone's separated by a couple seconds here. Six and 7, the gap is 9.4 seconds between Vince and Todd. Vince got a lap up right now. Eric Sillius round, Dan in the 2, Haas in 3, Chad in the 4, Ryan in 5, Vince in the 6, Todd in the 7.
The top drivers are Old Guys Rule,
1:25
Dan
now on the
Jefferson,
clock.
and the Dr. Love.
Caution straightaway, clear. All right, 1:14 now on the clock. 17.407 is the pace. Dan 17.408. Haas 16.4 flat. Chad 16.401. Vince 16.408. Ryan 16.411. Todd 15.406.
1 minute left. After 3 minutes,
Everyone
1 second.
fairly close.
The top drivers
6
are Old
through
Guys Rule,
3 are all
Dan
on a
Jefferson,
16-lap
and the
pace.
Dr. Love.
Dan and Eric. Dan moves up to the 1 now. Dan on a 17.407. Eric 17.407.
45 seconds left.
.35 seconds on the clock.
30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Old Guys Rule, and Chad Kramer. Fifteen seconds left.
On the clock. Two seconds. Keep going until she calls you done.
The Dr. Love done.
Caution straightaway. Clear. Todd, that's your leader. Please let him by.
Old Guys Rule done. Dan Jefferson done. Todd Murray done. Vince Lim done.
Just wait on Chad
Ryan
and
Johnson
Ryan.
done. All drivers are finished.
All right, that's the race. Drop your cars
Chad
off.
Kramer
Get
done.
right back out to Marshall.
The race is completed.
Up next is 21.5 Stock Buggy. Dan, should I separate that into two for the next round? Should I separate that into two for the next round, or is that fine? It's fine. Okay.
Is there 2 heats of this? Oh, no.
Graydon Edwards, Terry Brown, Seth Rhodes, Fred Williams, David Pyle,
Marshall in the middle, Marshall in the middle. You run 21.5?
There's not 2 heats?
This is 21.5.
Oh.
Jeremy Smedley,
Oh, it says short course track next.
Yeah.
Oh, after this.
Sam Moore,
All right, got checks on everyone. Let's go ahead and get lined up on the straightaway. Order's going to go Graydon, Terry, Fred, Seth, Sam, David, and Jeremy. Again, Graydon, Terry, Fred, Seth, Sam, David, and Jeremy. Driver's ready. Marshall's ready. Graydon on the tone. Here we go. What? Why is it? Okay, there you go. Terry, Fred, Seth, Sam, David, Jeremy. Oh, it's probably because we haven't run 21.5, and so the preset is... That makes sense. Sorry about that. Okay, moving forward, 21.5, I guess, is 4th tone still. I will see if I can't fix that before mains, but no guarantees. What?
after 30 seconds, the top drivers are Terry Brown,
so
Graydon
far,
Edwards, and Seth Rhodes.
Yeah, no, everyone seems to be good. Everyone's all about a 15-ish pace. Yeah, it doesn't look like 21.5 was set up for this format. It was only set up for the weekend, so...
After 1 minute
I'll have
left,
to go
the
in and
top
mess with that.
drivers are Graydon Edwards, Terry
All right,
Brown,
Graydon down the
and
1,
Seth
Terry
Rhodes.
in the 2, Seth in 3, Fred in the 4, David in the 5, Jeremy in the 6, Sam in the 7. Caution sweeper, clear.
After 1 minute 31
Caution at the
seconds,
chicane, clear.
the top drivers are Graydon Edwards, Terry Brown, and Seth Rhodes.
Caution straight away. Clear. All right, everyone fairly
2 minutes
spaced out
left.
at
2
the
minutes, 1
moment. A couple
second.
seconds
The
between
top
each
drivers are
driver.
Graydon
Close about right now
Edwards,
between
Terry
Terry
Brown,
and Seth, actually.
Rhodes.
Terry running that inverted wing. Caution after Chad. Clear.
After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Graydon Edwards, Terry Brown, and Seth Rhodes.
Caution sweeper. Stay inside. Continue caution.
One minute left. After 3 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Graydon Edwards, Terry Brown, and Seth Rhodes. 45 seconds left.
Everyone's still spaced out by a couple seconds here. No real battles going on. Everyone just kind of warming up for mains, looks like.
30 seconds left. After
Caution
3
at
minutes
Karen,
32
caution at Karen,
seconds,
continue caution,
the top
continue caution.
drivers are Terry Brown, Seth Rhodes, and Graydon Edwards. "15 seconds left.
Keep going until she calls you done.
Fred Williams done. Terry Brown done. Sam Moore done. Graydon Edwards done. Seth Rhodes done. David Pyle done.
Just wait on Jeremy to go across the line. Track's still alive, track's still alive.
All drivers are finished. Jeremy Smedley done. The race is completed.
13.5 short courses up next. Looking for Andrew, Jeremy, Vince, Todd, and Brent, as well as Chris, though I did forget he exists. Don't worry, Chris, I won't forget you next week. I promise. Well, I might. No promises, but I'll try.
Todd Murray. Jeremy Becker. Vince Lim. Chris Morrison. Andrew Tuttle. Brent Edwards.
All right, I got checks on everyone. Let's go ahead and get lined up on the straightaway. Brent, that's not the fastest line. I'll be honest with you. All right, are we doing an actual start, or do you guys just want to go? I'll call you guys out individually. All right. Go fast? All right, I'll see how fast I can call you guys out. Drivers ready? Marshall's ready. Andrew, you'll go on the tone. Jeremy, Vince, Todd, Brent, Chris. Yeah. I'll save you for the next round. Yeah, it's short course. I'm not too concerned about it, but I'll save you for stock buggy. So the next round, so I'll have you go up. Appreciate it.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Andrew Tuttle.
Well, I can do that. I just don't have the black box. I don't like doing it off my phone.
After 1 minute, 3 minutes left, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Andrew Tuttle.
I had one that you didn't even need the box to plug into it. It had the Bluetooth integrated into it. But it was like a $350 ESC. So I realized I didn't need it, so I sold that one. All right, 2:40 on the clock. Chris out in the 1, Vince in the 2, Jeremy in the 3, Andrew in the 4, Brent in the 5, Todd in the 6.
After 1 minute 30 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Jeremy Becker.
Andrew now rocking some mud flaps. That's probably saving him about 0.3 of a second per lap. Courteously brought to you by me. I think we should mandate mud flaps. Caution straightaway, caution straightaway.
After 2 minutes left, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Jeremy Becker.
Brent, we're going to get you some help on that truck, I think.
After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Jeremy Becker.
All right, Vince on the 1, Chris in the 2, Jeremy in the 3, Andrew in the 4, Brent in the 5, Todd in the 6. Jeremy, I'll be curious to hear your feedback about the lightweight truck. Loud noises are not really clear to me when you're on the driver's stand, so...
1 minute left. After 3 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Jeremy Becker.
Alrighty, guys. 50 seconds on the clock. Chris still leading us around.
45 seconds left.
What's up? Yeah, he's running the PBR chassis. Yeah, his car's really... I've driven it. It's really nice.
30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Jeremy Becker.
No, his car actually drives like a proper truck, for the most part. It's one of the few PBR chassis I actually enjoy
15
driving.
seconds left.
Like, I felt comfortable driving it. Yeah, I haven't driven Josh's, though. Caution sweeper, clear.
Andrew Tuttle done.
Andrew's the only one done so far.
Brent Edwards done.
Josh helped build it.
Vince Lim done.
Josh helped build it. Andrew, you're done.
Chris Morrison done. Todd Murray done.
Jeremy, you're still live. We're still live. We're still live.
All drivers are finished.
There we go.
Jeremy Becker done. The race is completed.
Chris, your truck looks really good, by the way.
Thank you, man. It feels great.
Yeah, it looks really planted. All right, stock buggy is up. Looking for Eric, Vince, Todd, Haas, and Graydon.
I would have to work really hard.
Eric, you, Todd, Haas, and Graydon. Just 2.
Just 2.
Graydon Edwards. Todd Murray.
What? No, you're in the next round.
The Dr. Love.
I can't talk right now. What's going on?
Old Guys Rule. Chris Morrison.
Yes, I want to hear about it, but I'm working right now. Can I call you back in a bit? I love you. I need Vince to go across the line here.
Vince Lim.
All right, there we go. We got checks on everyone. No speed, no speed. Straightaways closed, straightaways closed, straightaways closed, straightaways closed. Order's going to go Eric, Vince, Todd, Haas, Graydon, and Chris. Again, Eric, Vince, Todd, Haas, Graydon, and Chris. Yep. All right. Driver's ready. Marshall's ready. Eric on the tone. Less than 5. Vince, Todd, Haas, Graydon, Chris.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Old Guys Rule, Graydon Edwards, and the Dr. Love.
All right, Graydon leading us around. Vince in the 2, Eric in the 3, Haas in the 4, Chris in the 5, Todd in the 6.
After 1 minute, 3 minutes left. The top drivers are Graydon Edwards, Vince Lim, and Old Guys Rule.
2:50 on the clock. Graydon still leads around Vince in the 2, Haas in 3, Eric in the 4, Chris in the 5, Todd in the 6. Gap between 1 and 2, 1 second. Gap between 2 and 3.4 seconds. Caution around Chad. Clear. Vince moving up to the 1, Haas in the 2, Graydon in the 3, Chris in the 4, Eric in the 5, Todd in the 6.
After 1 minute 30 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim, the Dr. Love, and Graydon Edwards.
Two minutes on the clock. Vince still leads around. Graydon in the 2, Haas in the 3, Eric in the 4, Chris in the 5, Todd in the 6.
Love. After
1:30 on the clock. Vince
seconds,
still leads around. Graydon
the
in the 2,
top
Haas in the 3,
drivers are
Eric in the 4,
Vince
Chris in the
Lim,
5, Todd in the
Edwards,
6.
and the Dr. Love.
Graydon moves up to the 1 now. Haas goes down to the 2. Pace 17.413.
After 3 minutes, the top drivers are Graydon Edwards, Vince Lim, and Old Guys Rule.
Straightaway, straightaway, straightaway. Clear.
"45 seconds left. After 3 minutes 30 seconds, the top drivers are Graydon Edwards, Vince Lim, and Old Guys Rule. "15 seconds left.
Five seconds. Keep going until she calls you done. Caution at Chad, caution at Chad.
Old Guys Rule done.
Hey, no talking on the
Vince Lim done.
driver's stand.
Chris Morrison done.
Track's still live,
Todd
track's
Murray
still
done.
live.
The Dr. Love done.
Graydon, you're still live. Graydon, you're still live. Graydon, you're still live.
All drivers are finished.
There we go.
Graydon Edwards done.
Didn't change
The race
position,
is
Graydon, don't
completed.
worry, but go till she calls you done or I call you done.
Dan Jefferson. Ryan Johnson. Chad Kramer. Terry Brown. Todd Powell. Jeremy Becker.
I got checks on everyone. Let's go ahead and get lined up on the straightaway. Straightaway's closed, straightaway's closed. Order's going to go Dan, Jeremy, Chad, Ryan, Todd, and Terry. Again, Dan, Jeremy, Chad, Ryan, Todd, and Terry. All right, I think we got everyone. All right. Order's going to go Dan, Jeremy, Chad, Ryan, Todd, and Terry. Drivers ready. Marshall's ready. Dan on the tone. Jeremy, Chad, Ryan, Todd, Terry. Caution after Karen, caution after Karen. Clear.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Terry Brown, Todd Powell, and Chad Kramer.
Caution down straight, caution down straight, clear.
After 1 minute, 3 minutes left, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Terry Brown, and Chad Kramer.
Fast lap now out of Dan 13.981. Dan setting pace 17.414. 2:45 on the clock.
After 1 minute 30 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Ryan Johnson, and Chad Kramer.
Chad, you have the number 2 car coming up on you. Thank you. All right, 2:10 on the clock. Dan on the 1, Ryan in the 2, Terry in 3, Chad in the 4, Todd the 5, Jeremy in the 6. 2:05 on the clock.
2 minutes left. After 2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Ryan Johnson, and Terry Brown.
Caution at the chicane, caution at the chicane.
After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Ryan Johnson, and Terry Brown.
1:20 on the clock. (17.408) is the pace.
One minute left. After 3 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Ryan
Caution
Johnson,
sweeper, caution
and Terry
sweeper.
Brown.
Terry, you have the leader coming up on you here in a sec. Please let him by. Thank you.
45 seconds left. "30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Terry Brown, and Ryan Johnson.
20 seconds on the clock.
"15 seconds left.
Everyone's still alive. Keep going until she calls you done.
Dan Jefferson done. Jeremy Becker done. Todd Powell done. Terry Brown done. Ryan Johnson done. All drivers are finished. Chad Kramer done. The race is completed.
All right, do you guys want a 5 or 10 minute break between rounds? 5, 10, what? 5? All right, we'll do 5. So we'll be back at 7:30. then the sportsman guys are just kind of on the cusp of being good enough for stock. So it's like, if I put the actual sportsman guys in with sportsmen, it just wouldn't have been a race. So. All right, guys, 75 sportsmen's up. So heat 2 of stock buggy, you are out to the track to Marshall. All right, Andrew, you better win this. Got that fancy body, you better win.
Michael Jones.
Thank you. All right, let's get Andrew across the line, then we'll get started here. All right, no
Andrew
speed, no
Tuttle.
speed. Straightaways close, straightaways close. Order's going to go Michael, Andrew, Matt, and Hunter. Again, Michael, Andrew, Matt, and Hunter. All right, driver's ready. Marshall's ready. Michael on the tone. Here we go. Andrew, Matt, Hunter. Caution sweeper, caution sweeper.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Michael Jones, Andrew Tuttle, and Matt Hoyt.
All right,
After
3 minutes on the clock.
left, top
Andrew, or
drivers are
Michael on
Michael
the 1,
Jones,
Andrew in the 2.
Andrew Tuttle, and Matt Hoyt.
Matt and 300 in the 4. Caution sweeper, caution sweeper, caution sweeper. Andrew, what are you doing?
After 1 minute 30 seconds, the top drivers are Michael Jones, Andrew Tuttle, and Matt Hoyt.
They don't have transponders. Caution at the double section. Thing. I don't know what we're calling that. Feature, maybe? Something. All right, 2 minutes on the clock.
After 2 minutes left, the top drivers are Michael Jones, Andrew Tuttle, and Matt Hoyt.
Andrew, are you trying to start a new hole in the wall?
After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Michael Jones, Andrew Tuttle, and Matt Hoyt.
What? No. That's why I'm not a good RD. Never claimed to be. Dan will tell you all about it. I forgot about him today.
1 minute left. After 3
No,
minutes
we're-
1 second.
We're
The top drivers are
notoriously
Michael Jones,
we're
Andrew
notoriously
Tuttle, and Matt
terrible.
Hoyt.
You're not even wrong about that. I can't argue with you.
45 seconds left.
Because he's lame. If he was cool, he would have kept racing last year.
Thirty seconds left. After
30
minutes
seconds on the clock.
31 seconds, the top drivers are Michael Jones, Andrew Tuttle, and Matt Hoyt. "15 seconds left.
Andrew is not short course. He can't go that far inside the pipe on that. My truck will go right through that, but buggy, not quite.
Michael Jones done. All drivers are finished.
All right, that's a race.
Andrew
Drop your
Tuttle
cars off.
done.
Get right back out to Marshall.
The race is completed.
13.5 four-wheel drive is up. I think he's behind you. I think Dan's in the 1, I think you're in the 2, and I think Eric's in the 3. The 3. Because you're in the 2, Dan's in the 1.
Dan Jefferson. The Dr. Love. Old Guys Rule. Chad Kramer. Vince Lim.
Way off pace still. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. Yeah, I was watching those guys. I'm like, it was faster than it was this weekend, and they're not even doing
Todd
good
Murray.
this weekend. So.
Ryan Johnson.
All right, I got checks on everyone. Let's go ahead and get lined up on the straightaway. Straightaway closed. Straightaway is closed. Order's going to go Dan, Eric, Chad, Haas, Vince, Ryan, and Todd. Again, Dan, Eric, Chad, Haas, Vince, Ryan, and Todd. All right. Driver's ready. Marshall's ready. Dan on the tone. Less than 5. Eric, Chad, Haas, Vince, Ryan, Todd.
Repairing my body. It's starting to crack. Trying to prolong how long I need to probably make a new one.
You need to get a livery body, dude.
Yeah, I know. I still need to do that for like 5 years.
Oh, you know what? Hey. You're going to do a blue livery, right?
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Old Guys Rule, Ryan Johnson, and Dan Jefferson.
And it just like bolts in instead of the other one that I have.
It's like, I don't know, you're probably going to overpay more on eBay because they don't make art anymore. Make sure it's for the, not the RTR. The RTR one is a different bumper system. You have to make sure.
Maybe send it to me.
Yeah, I'll find it, but
Later on.
that would be cool.
After 1 minute, 3 minutes left, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Old Guys Rule, and Vince Lim.
All right, 2:55 on the clock. Dan on the 1, Eric the 2, Vince in the 3, Chad in the 4, Ryan in the 5, Haas in the 6, Todd in the 7.
After 1 minute 30 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Old Guys Rule, and Vince Lim.
Hey, let's race. Hey, let's go race.
Talking to my boss gives me an excuse.
You watching the live stream?
No. He does not care. He's got his own race to worry about.
Two
2 minutes on the
left.
clock. Dan leading
The
us around
top
Eric the
drivers
2.
are
Gap
Dan
between 1 and
Jefferson,
2, 3 seconds.
Old Guys Rule,
Being
Vince Lim.
2 and 3, 2.5 seconds back. Battle to watch between Ryan and Haas. Those are going to be the red, gray, and yellow cars. You're going to have the leader coming through. Please let him by Ryan and Haas. It's hard for me to tell who's who. All right. Looks like Haas, you're going to have leader coming up on you. There we go. All right, thank you guys. Todd, you're going to have the battle coming up.
After
Please
2
let
minutes, 30 seconds,
Ryan by.
the
Thank you.
top drivers are Dan Jeppesen, Old Guys Rule, and
That
Vince
is
Lim.
very confusing for the two of you guys. All right, 1:15 on the clock. Caution after Chad. Caution after Chad. Looks like that was Haas that rolled it over. That's going to put Ryan in the 4th spot. So Dan on the 1, Eric in the 2, Vince in the 3, Ryan
1
in the 4,
minute left.
Chad in the
3
5,
minutes,
Haas
1
goes down to the
second.
6, Todd in the
top
7.
drivers are Dan Jeppesen, Old Guys Rule, and Vince Lim. "45 seconds left. "30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 31 seconds,
Alrighty.
the top drivers are Dan Jeppesen,
25 seconds
Old
now
Guys
on the
Rule,
clock.
and Vince Lim. "15 seconds left.
Up next, after the 21.5. Keep going until she calls you done.
Dan Jeppesen done. Chad Kramer done. Old Guys Rule done. Todd Murray done. The Dr. Love done. Vince Lim done.
There we go.
All
That's the
drivers
race.
are
Drop your
finished.
cars off. Get right back out
Ryan
to Marshall.
Johnson done.
21.5 buggy is
The race
up.
is completed.
Looking forward. Terry, Graydon, Seth, David, Fred, Jeremy, and Sam. Andrew, what happened? Oh. I was going to say, you were all over the place.
Graydon Edwards. Terry Brown.
You're making it look really hard. If
Fred
you want to steal a
Williams.
set of tires I have on my pit, you're more than welcome to. They're yellow, but they'll
David
work. They'll be
Pyle.
better tires.
Jeremy
Fuzz
Smedley.
bites for stock don't work very well. Yeah, don't run fuzz bites for stock. It's not fast.
Sam
It's
Moore.
way too loose.
Seth Rhodes.
All right, got checks on everyone. Let's go ahead and get lined up on the straightaway. Order's going to go Terry, Graydon, Seth, David, Fred, Jeremy, and Sam. All right. Driver's ready. Marshall's ready. Terry on the tone, less than 5. Oh, wait, never hang on. False start that. Sorry, guys. I forgot the 21.5 is still messed up. Sorry, Terry, you were going to go on the 4th tone. I forgot 21.5 is still screwed. I couldn't get it fixed. So, all right, Terry Brown on the 4th tone. Here we go. Graydon, Seth, David, Fred, Jeremy, Sam. I don't know why it didn't. There you go. Caution at the corner. Caution on the corner. All right, 3:35 on the clock.
After 30 seconds.
Caution after
the
Chad.
top
Caution
drivers are
after
Graydon
Chad.
Edwards, Terry
Clear.
Brown, and Seth Rhodes.
Caution at the chicane. Caution at the chicane. Clear. Caution straightaway, clear.
After 3 minutes left, the top drivers are Graydon Edwards, Seth Rhodes, and David Pyle.
Fred, I think you might need to stand your front end up a little bit more.
After 1 minute 30 seconds, the top drivers are Graydon Edwards, Seth Rhodes, and David Pyle.
All right, Graydon on the 1, Seth in 2, David in 3, Terry in the 4, Sam in the 5, Jeremy in the 6, Fred in the 7. Gap between 1 and 2, 1.0 seconds back now. Between 2 and 3, 3.1 seconds. Caution getting on the straightaway, caution getting on the straightaway. All clear, all clear.
2 minutes left. After 2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Graydon Edwards, Seth Rhodes, and Terry Brown. After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Graydon Edwards, Seth Rhodes, and Terry Brown.
Not great right now. 1:15 on the clock. It looks too low. I can't guarantee that's going to be the best help, but anything right now. I'd also go to the 9 cups too on the front end. Looks like you got 3s or 6s on there.
1 minute left. After 3 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Graydon Edwards, Terry Brown, and Seth Rhodes.
Making it really hard to drive. All right, 50 seconds on the clock.
45 seconds left. "30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Terry Brown, Seth Rhodes, and Graydon Edwards. "15 seconds left. Terry Brown done. Graydon Edwards done. Seth Rhodes done. David Pyle done. Jeremy Smedley done.
Track still live, waiting on Sam and Fred. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Track is still live.
Sam Moore done.
There we go.
All drivers are finished. Fred Williams done. The race is completed.
13.5 short courses up. Looking for Vince, Chris, Jeremy, Andrew, Todd, and Brent. Hey, Fred. Stand your front end up a little bit more.
Todd Murray. Brent Edwards. Chris Morrison. Andrew Tuttle. Jeremy Becker. Vince Lim.
All right, I got checks on. Everyone, let's go ahead and get lined up on the straightaway. Order is going to go Vince, Chris, Jeremy, Andrew, Todd, and Brent. Now, do you guys want a staggered start again, or do you want to just go for it? Staggered? Got it. All right. I'm We're gonna call you guys out fast. I need a corner at the. No, I got one. Okay. Need one more in the middle. There we go. All right. Order's gonna go Vince, Chris, Jeremy, Andrew, and Todd and Brent. Driver's ready. Marshall's ready. Vince on the tune. Chris, Jeremy, Andrew, Todd, Brent.
After 30
Andrew,
seconds,
don't try to take people
the
out.
top
It's not
drivers
gonna
are
be
Vince
fast.
Lim, Jeremy Becker, and Chris Morrison.
Don't worry too much about blocking the guy behind you. Just let them by. If they got the pace on you, you'll all drive a lot better. All right, I got Vince on the 1, Chris in the 2, Jeremy in 3, Andrew in the 4, Todd in the 5, Brent in the 6.
After 1 minute left, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Jeremy Becker. After 1 minute 31 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Jeremy Becker. Two minutes left. After 2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Vince
All
Lim,
right, Vince
Chris
on the 1,
Morrison,
Chris in
and
the 2,
Jeremy
Jeremy in
Becker.
3, Andrew in the 4, Brent in the 5, Todd in the 6, 150 on the clock. Caution at the chicane, caution at the chicane.
After 2 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim,
Caution
Chris
straightaway,
Morrison,
caution
and Jeremy
straightaway.
Becker.
One minute now on the clock. Vince still in round, Chris in the 2, Jeremy in 3, Andrew in the 4, Brent in the 5, Todd in the 6.
1 minute left. After 3 minutes 2 seconds, the
Jeremy
top drivers
utilizing
are Vince
every
Lim,
inch
Chris
of that
Morrison,
car on
and
that
Jeremy
landing.
Becker. 45 seconds left. "30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Jeremy Becker. "15 seconds left.
All right, 10 seconds on the clock.
Andrew Tuttle done.
All right. What?
Chris Morrison done. Brent Edwards
Sweeper,
done.
sweeper, everyone check your cars
Todd
when you
Murray
finish.
done.
Someone smells hot,
Vince Lim
apparently.
done. All
Everyone
drivers
check
are
your
finished.
cars, check your cars.
Jeremy
Someone's
Becker done.
overheating. Yeah, we're done.
The race is completed.
It's not cold, but I can leave my finger on it. You? I think it's Todd. Sounds like a puzzle. You can't leave my finger on it?
I can't put the finger on it.
Oh, well, it's all you then. I can rest it. I mean, it's warm.
No, this kept getting like worse, and you could smell it. Yeah, chocolate's.
I didn't drive it too good that round, but it died. Yeah. It's set up.
Every time I change something, I have to learn to drive this all over again.
All right, two-wheel drive
Todd
stock
Powell.
buggies up. Looking for Ryan,
Ryan
Chad,
Johnson.
Chris, Todd, Powell, Todd Murray, and Jeremy.
Chad Kramer.
Let's go ahead and get marshals out to the track. We probably need a few volunteers for this one. I think there's a couple back-to-backs, so if we could get a couple volunteers.
Jeremy Becker. Todd Murray.
What's up?
Except I'm not getting the fucking medicine.
Yep. All right, if I get two marshals out to the middle, please. Two marshals out to the middle. I just need Chris to go across the line.
Chris Morrison.
All right, there we go. Let's get him lined up on the straightaway. Order's going to go Ryan, Chad, Chris, Todd, Powell, Todd Murray, and then Jeremy. All right. All right, you guys ready? Driver's ready, marshals ready. Ryan on the tone, less than 5. Chad, Chris, Powell, Murray, Becker.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Chad Kramer, Chris Morrison, and Ryan Johnson.
Caution at Karen, caution at Karen. Keep going. All right. Ryan leading us around. Gap between 1 and 2.2 seconds. So the battle between Ryan and Chad is the one to watch right now. Chris not far back.
After
They're all
1
gapped
minute
out
the top
about
drivers
a
are Ryan
second
Johnson,
or so
Chad
here.
Kramer, and Chris Morrison. After 1 minute 30 seconds, the top drivers are Chad Kramer, Ryan Johnson, and Chris Morrison.
Caution at Karen, caution at Karen. Andrew getting his squats in, getting ready for some hockey practice over there. Maybe he's going to play goalie. We'll see. All right, 2 minutes on the clock. Chad now out in the 1, Ryan in the 2, Chris in the 3, Todd in the 4, Jeremy in the 5, Todd in the 6.
2 minutes left. The top drivers are Chad Kramer, Ryan Johnson, and Chris Morrison. After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Chad Kramer, Ryan Johnson, and Chris Morrison.
Yeah, I'll see. The only problem is we're completely balanced on races right now, the drivers. So we'll see. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll go chat with him. All right, 1 minute on the
left.
clock. Chad
After 3
leading us
minutes,
around. Ryan
1
the 2,
second,
Chris and 3,
the
Todd on the
top
4.
drivers are Chad Kramer, Ryan Johnson, and Chris Morrison. "45 seconds left.
So Chad and Ryan both moving up positions.
30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Ryan Johnson, Chad Kramer, and Chris Morrison. "15 seconds left.
Caution at Karen, caution at Karen. Stay wide, stay wide, stay wide. Clear. Keep going until she calls you done.
Ryan Johnson done. Todd Powell done. Chad Kramer done.
Caution straightaway, caution
Jeremy
straightaway.
Becker done. Chris Morrison
Caution
done.
sweeper, caution sweeper. Track still live, track still live. Todd, I think your transponder might not be registering. It says you missed a couple laps, so yeah, your transponder's not reading. It doesn't look like.
All drivers
No,
are
there
finished.
you go. Okay. Yeah, I would
Todd
check
Murray
your
done.
transponder. You're missing laps.
The race is completed.
The stair. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get marshals out to the track. Yeah, I was wondering.
Graydon
I was
Edwards.
trying to watch Todd, and every
Dan
time I looked, he
Jefferson.
was checking in. But
Old
then I
guys
guess he's
rule.
missing laps, so I don't know if it's true. Okay.
Vince Lim.
Okay.
Terry Brown. The Dr. Love.
I don't know. It didn't tell me how many laps, so you're just gonna have to go by the last qualifying. So I'm sorry about that. I was trying to watch you go through, and every time I looked, you were catching your laps, but then so I don't know how many you were back by. But. All right, got checks on everyone. Where is your transponder stuck to? What is your transponder touching? Nothing. Nothing. I mean, what do you mean? All right, order's gonna get. That would do it. All right, orders: Dan, Graydon, Eric, Vince, Terry, and Haas. All right. Drivers ready. Order is Dan, Graydon, Eric, Vince, Terry, and Haas. All right, if I get one more marshal out to the middle, please.
Where do you want me?
In the middle with Chad, and then Todd, can you get this corner here?
Yeah, I got this.
Awesome, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, drivers ready? Yeah, 2 in the middle. Thanks, Ryan. All right, Dan on the tone in less than 5. Graydon, Eric, Vince, Terry, Haas.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Graydon Edwards, Dan Jefferson, and Old Guys Rule. After 1 minute. 3 minutes
All right,
left.
Dan
Top
out in the
drivers are
1,
Dan
Eric in the 2,
Jefferson,
Graydon in the 3,
Old Guys
Haas in the
Rule,
4, Terry in
and
the 5,
Graydon
Vince in the
Edwards.
6. All right, 2:35 now on the clock. Dan leading us around. Eric in the 2, Graydon in the 3, Haas in the 4.
After 1 minute 30 seconds.
Terry in the 5,
the top
Vince in the
drivers
6.
are Dan Jefferson, Old Guys Rule, and Graydon Edwards.
Caution, ground Karen clear.
After 2 minutes left. The top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Old Guys Rule, and Graydon Edwards.
.140 on the clock. Gap between 1 and 2,
After
2.9 seconds. Between 2 and
the
3,
top drivers are
4.0
Dan
seconds.
Jefferson, Old Guys Rule,
4.2
and
now.
Graydon Edwards.
Gap between 3 and 4, 6.1. Between 4 and 5, 8.5. And between 5 and 6, 1.6.
One minute left. After 3 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Old Guys Rule, and the Dr. Love. .45 seconds left.
.35 seconds on the clock.
30 seconds After left. 3 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Old Guys Rule, and the Dr. Love. .15 seconds left.
Keep going, keep going. Caution straightaway, clear.
Terry Brown done. Dan Jefferson done. Vince Lim done. Old Guys Rule done. The Dr. Love done. All drivers are finished. Graydon Edwards
All right,
done.
that's a race.
The race is completed.
I wasn't too far behind you. No. I crashed that 30 lap lap on the jump in the straightaway. Oh, I crashed right at the end too.
Hey, Michael. Do you want me to move you over to the regular stock buggy? Cool. No, because it was preset and I can't change it and I already tried. It's incredibly unfortunate. I'm not lying, I genuinely tried to change it. It can't be changed after the format's been set up. All right, Michael, so when stock buggy goes up, I'm going to put you in... Go up for the B main, and then we'll kind of see where you go from there. But I'll just have you register for that. All right, we'll get started here at 8:20. Joby's a good guy. Yeah. I've talked to him a few times. I went out to dinner with him and stuff. He's nice. I know with him and Dustin Evans and Kevin and some other guys. I was the slowest guy at the table. It was really embarrassing. All right, guys. Sportsman 17.5 is up looking for Andrew, Hunter, and Matt. Again, Andrew, Hunter, and Matt. Stock buggy guys, you are out to the track to Marshall. Heat 2, stock buggy drivers, you're out. So B main guys, you're out to track to Marshall. I think it's B main. Let me see. No, sorry, A main. A main stock drivers. I don't know why I thought it was B main. I am new here. I haven't RD'd in like a whole week, so. Aiden. What's that? Yeah. That's accurate. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it, Eric. All right, guys. Let's get Andrew checked in here. Marshall out to the track. Andrew, you got my tires. You better drive good. They're super scrubbed in. Don't worry. What?
Andrew Tuttle.
No. Yeah? Okay. Yeah, Andrew, we need to do something about that car. It should not react like that going through that section. That looks... You're making this look really hard. Yeah, we're going to... This weekend, we're going to work with you. All right. Let's go ahead and get lined up. Again, Andrew, Hunter, and Matt. Yeah, let's just throw him over on the straightaway. Almost. There you go. All right. Driver's ready. Marshall's ready. On the toe in less than 5. What? They don't have transponders. Yeah, Andrew, we're going to do something about that car.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Andrew Tuttle, Michael Jones, and Hunter Hoyt.
It's super fast on the straightaway, and that's about it. Yeah, that's a little wonky. I don't know how you always have some of the nicest cars, but the setups are just, they leave a lot to be desired. What's that?
After 3 minutes left, the top drivers are Andrew Tuttle, Michael Jones, and Hunter Hoyt.
Oh, that's what I'm for? You don't like my cars. Oh, my cars are pretty, but they only really work for me. Caution straightaway. Clear.
After 1 minute 30 seconds, the top drivers are Andrew Tuttle, Michael Jones, and Hunter Hoyt.
Yeah, I'll work with you this weekend, Andrew, on that. We'll get it figured out. We need to hire Josh Cody to come in and take it apart for you. Yeah, at least it's looking better with those tires, so that's good. I know why you're feeling frustrated, though.
The top drivers are Andrew Tuttle, Michael Jones, and Hunter Hoyt.
I do like the new bodies. They look good. That's kind of the paint job I need for the new shaft car. 140 on the clock. Caution at the chicane, caution at the chicane.
After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Andrew Tuttle, Michael Jones, and Hunter Hoyt.
Caution sweeper, caution sweeper.
One minute left. After 3 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Andrew Tuttle, Michael Jones, and Hunter Hoyt. 45 seconds left.
$35 seconds.
30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Andrew Tuttle, Michael Jones, and Hunter Hoyt. "15 seconds left.
Keep going till she calls you done. All right, that's
All
a race.
drivers are
Drop
finished.
your cars off. Get
Andrew
right back
Tuttle
out to
done.
Marshall. Probably going to need
The
a couple
race is
volunteers for this
completed.
next round. 13.5 four-wheel drive is up. Yeah, Andrew, I'm not... Do you have a setup on there right now, or is it just kind of a... ish? Okay, yeah, let's work on that this weekend. All right, let's get Marshall out of the track. Gonna need a couple volunteers, like I said. Looking forward, Dan, Eric, Vince, Ryan, Chad, Haas, and Todd. Not those tires. Those aren't bald tires. My car's not
Dan
ready.
Jefferson,
I'm waiting on
Old
my motor
Guys
to get
Rule.
tuned.
Vince Lim,
If you're gonna get competitive, I'm gonna get competitive. Caution at Karen, caution at Karen. Caution straight
The
away,
Dr.
caution
Love.
straight away.
Ryan Johnson, Chad Kramer,
All right, I need him. Grady, can you get to this corner? Thanks. All right, if I get one more Marshall
Todd
out to the
Murray.
middle, please. One more Marshall out to the middle. If I get a volunteer, volunteer. No speed, straightaways closed, straightaways closed, straightaways closed, straightaways closed. Order's gonna go Dan, Eric, Vince, Ryan, Chad, Haas, and Todd. Again, Dan, Eric, Vince, Ryan, Chad, Haas, and Todd. Again, if I get one more Marshall to volunteer in the middle, one more volunteer Marshall. All right, then I'm gonna need someone to cover. Thank you, Chris. All right, drivers ready, Marshall's ready. On the tone, less than 5. Caution straight away, clear.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Old Guys Rule,
All
and
right,
Vince
after the
Lim.
first 30 seconds, we have Dan on the 1, Eric on the 2, Vince on 3, Ryan on 4, Haas on 5, Chad on 6, Todd on 7. Gap between 1 and 2, 1 second now. Caution sweeper, clear. Caution at the chicane, caution at the chicane.
After 1 minute left, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Old Guys Rule, and Vince Lim.
.245 on the clock. All right, Dan still leads round. Ryan up to the 2, Vince in the 3, Chad in the 4, Haas in the 5, Eric in the 6, Todd in the 7. Caution through that
After
chicane
1
section,
minute
clear.
31 seconds,
That is clear.
the top drivers are Dan Jefferson,
Eric
Ryan
with a killer
Johnson, and
overtake
Vince
through that
Lim.
back section. That's going to bump Eric up to the 4 now. Caution straightaway, stay inside, stay inside, stay inside, stay inside, clear. Eric making up some time. Caution at Karen, caution at Karen, caution on the inside at Karen, caution on the inside at Karen. That is clear.
2 minutes left.
Eric
After 2
looking to
minutes,
make up
1
some
second,
time. He's a
the
little
top
bit
drivers are Dan Jefferson,
less than,
Ryan
or a little bit
Johnson,
more than
and Vince
straightaway
Lim.
gap now between him and Vince. He's got the pace though. .135 on the clock. Caution
After 2
sweeper,
minutes,
caution
31
sweeper,
seconds,
clear.
The top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Ryan Johnson, and Vince Lim.
Dan with a bit of a hiccup, but it looks like he's got enough gap to stay up in the 1.
One minute left. After 3 minutes 2 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Ryan Johnson, and Vince Lim.
50 seconds now on the clock.
45 seconds left.
Chad, you're going to have the 4 coming up on you here in a sec.
30 seconds
you.
left. After 3 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Ryan Johnson, and Vince Lim.
Caution sweeper, clear.
15 seconds left.
Caution at Chad.
Todd Murray done.
Keep going
Dan
just calls you
Jefferson
done.
Ryan Johnson done. The Dr. Love done. Old Guys Rule done. Vince Lim done. All drivers are finished. Chad Kramer done.
Where?
The race is completed.
Oh, yeah. All right, 21-5 is up. Let's get marshals out to the track, drivers up to the stand.
Graydon Edwards. Terry Brown. David Pyle.
Brent, try adding even a little bit more preload to the front end.
I put some,
Put the taller cups on.
Fred Williams. Seth Rhodes.
Yeah, I want to drive
Sam
this thing
Moore.
probably tomorrow and see what's going on, because looks really hard to drive. And I think that's why you're getting frustrated. Is I don't think you're not necessarily a good driver. It's just your car is fucking hard to drive. Because like when last time I drove it, it was hard, but it looks worse than when I drove it. So
Jeremy Smedley.
you can't put a. You got to put like a neutral setup on. You can't put a fast guy setup because they're really aggressive. Yeah. All right, got checks on everyone. Let's go ahead and get lined up on the straight. Order's going to go Terry, Graydon, Seth, David, Sam, Fred, and Jeremy. If I get, thank you. Terry, Graydon, Seth, David, Sam, Fred, and Jeremy. All right, again, Terry, Graydon, Seth, David, Sam, Fred, and Jeremy. Thank you. Thanks, Vince. $21.5 drivers, am I right? All right. Driver's ready, marshal's ready. You will go on the 4th tone. Deep breaths, deep breaths. Patience, patience, patience. Blink and breathe. You're not going to win it in the first couple laps here.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Terry Brown, Graydon Edwards, and Seth Rhodes.
Caution at Karen, caution at Karen. All right, Terry out in the 1, Graydon in the 2, Seth in 3, David in 4, Fred in 5, Sam in 6, Jeremy in 7.
After
Number 2 is
1
coming
minute,
through
the top
on
drivers are Terry Brown,
Fred. You're going to have
Graydon
number 2. There we go.
Edwards, and
All
Seth
clear.
Rhodes.
Still early, 2:50 on the clock. Caution sweepers, stay inside, stay inside, stay inside, clear.
After 1 minute 30 seconds, the top drivers are Terry Brown, Graydon Edwards, and Seth Rhodes.
Blink and breathe, deep breaths. Patience. 2:15 on the clock. Caution getting on the straight, caution getting on the straight. You're going to have your leaders coming through. Sam, you're going to have a, there we go.
2
Fred,
minutes
you're going to have
left.
1 and 2 coming
The
through.
top drivers are Terry Brown, Graydon Edwards, and Seth Rhodes.
2 taps out. Still 2 minutes on the clock, though. Lots of time, lots of time. You're still in 2 spots, so Sam, let him by. Thank you, Fred. All right. All you got now in front of you is space.
After 2 minutes 30 seconds, the top drivers are Terry Brown, Graydon Edwards, and Seth Rhodes.
Caution straightaway, clear. Caution straightaway.
1 minute left. After 3 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Terry Brown, Graydon Edwards, and Seth Rhodes.
Caution getting on the straight, Car off the track.
45 seconds left.
Caution at Karen, stay wide. Almost taking out Chad.
"30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Terry Brown, Seth Rhodes, and Graydon Edwards.
Chad's got some moves. Caution going getting on the straightaway.
15 seconds left.
What? 5 seconds on the clock.
David Pyle done. Graydon Edwards done.
Keep going,
Sam
keep
Moore
going.
done. Fred Williams done. Terry Brown done. Seth Rhodes done. All drivers are finished. Jeremy Smedley done.
All right, short
The
course
race
is
is
up.
completed.
Now for this, I am inclined to do a land rush start if you guys are, because I think it'd be entertaining. But that is up to you guys. Eric and I vote for land rush. What do you guys say?
Yeah, he goes for land rush.
Jeremy, do you want a land rush? You want a land rush start?
Todd Murray.
Who? Hey,
Chris Morrison.
give me a show of hands who wants to land
Vince
rush
Lim.
this. All right, we're going to land rush start this. All right, I need Jeremy,
Brent
Andrew, and
Edwards.
Brent to check in.
Andrew Tuttle.
Jeremy, across the line, please.
Jeremy Becker.
All right, there we go. Hey, how you doing? Thank you. All right, let's get him lined up side by side. Marshals, if you guys could help me get him lined up. We're going to go 2 wide all the way back. It's going to go Vince, Chris, Jeremy, Andrew, Brent, and Todd. Vince and Chris are in the 1. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Right there. Then Jeremy and Andrew, so yeah, right there, yeah. There we go. All right, perfect. All right. Drivers ready? All right, here we go. Todd, try not to burn your car down. Drivers ready? Marshals ready? On the tone, less than 5.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Todd Murray. After 1 minute left, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Todd Murray. After 1 minute 31 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Todd Murray. After 2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Todd Murray. After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Andrew Tuttle. One minute left. After 3 minutes 2 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Andrew Tuttle. "45 seconds left. "30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Chris Morrison, and Andrew Tuttle.
You got time for a little bit, or are you heading out?
15 seconds left.
All right, keep going until she calls you done.
Vince Lim done. Andrew Tuttle done. Todd Murray done. Jeremy Becker done. Chris Morrison done. All drivers are finished. Brent
All right,
Edwards
that's
done.
the race. Drop your cars off. Get
The
right
race
back
is
out to
completed.
Marshall. Two-wheel drive stock buggy B-main is up. Looking for Haas, Chad, Chris, Todd, Jeremy, and Todd Murray. Yeah. All right, what are you gonna do about the crawl space?
The Dr. Love.
I mean, about cleaning it out though. Just be really careful going. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, because Kevin was talking to me. He's like, he had a friend who died because a mouse died in their house or something, and they breathed it in and it killed.
Todd Powell.
So. Yeah.
Michael Jones. Chris Morrison. Chad Kramer.
All right, let's get Marshall out to the track, please. Alright, well, it sounds like you'll have a fun time. So.
I walked out this morning and it had a lot to do. It was hiding under the orange thing that has the fake mouse in it. That's where it was.
Still need corner marshals out of the track. Corner marshals out of the track, please. And you're helping with mom's thing tomorrow?
Yeah, we're gonna come over and help.
Okay.
Jeremy Becker.
I think I'm supposed to meet you guys over there or something. I'm not.
Don't bring up the basement thing.
I will.
I told Julie, she asked me, I said, you don't want to know. I said, that's fine. She said, chill.
Todd across the line, please. Todd across the line. Yeah.
All right, buddy.
I love you.
There you go. I love you too.
See you later. Me too.
Me too.
All right, Todd, if you can check in, please.
Have a good night.
Yep. All right. Order's going to go Michael, Haas,
Todd
Chad,
Murray.
Chris, Todd, Jeremy, and Todd Murray. Yeah, Michael, just start in the back. $2. One sec. Alrighty. There we go. All right. Drivers ready? Do we have a marshal down at the end of the straight? We do? Okay. All right. Dollar. All right. Drivers ready? Marshals ready. On the tone. Here we go.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Michael Jones, Chris Morrison, and Chad Kramer.
.3:15 on the clock. Michael out in the 1, Haas in the 2, Chris in 3, Chad in the 4, Todd in the 5, Jeremy in the 6, Todd Murray in the 7, Todd in the Yeah.
After
3
1 minute
No,
left,
7.
the top drivers are Michael Jones,
Yeah.
Chris Morrison, and Chad Kramer.
So Haas on the 1, Chris in the 2, Chad in the 3, Todd in the 4, Jeremy in the 5, Michael in the 6, Todd in the 7.
After 1 minute 30 seconds, the top drivers are Michael Jones, Chris Morrison, and Chad Kramer. After 2 minutes left, the top drivers are Michael Jones, Chad Kramer, and Chris Morrison.
.130 on the clock.
After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Michael Jones, Chad Kramer, and Chris Morrison.
Haas leading us around, Chad in the 2, Chris in the 3, Todd in the 4, Jeremy in the 5, Todd in the 6. Caution sweeper, clear. 1 minute on the clock.
1 minute left. After 3 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Michael Jones, Chad Kramer, and Chris Morrison.
Caution getting on the straight, caution getting on the straight, clear.
45 seconds left. .30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Michael Jones, Chad Kramer, and Chris Morrison. .15 seconds left.
5 seconds.
The Dr. Love done. Chad Kramer done. Chris Morrison done. Michael Jones done.
Keep going, keep
Todd
going.
Powell done. Todd Murray done. All drivers are finished.
I don't know if it's set up for. I don't
Jeremy
think it's set
Becker
up for
done.
bumps. We'll see.
The race is completed.
It is not set up for bumps.
Dan Jefferson. Graydon Edwards.
All right, let's get marshals out
Old
of the
guys
track.
rule.
Let's go ahead and get drivers checked in.
Vince Lim. Terry Brown. Ryan Johnson.
All right, got checks on everyone. Let's go ahead and get lined up on the straightaway. Order's going to go Dan, Eric, Graydon, Ryan, Vince, and Terry. Again, Dan, Eric, Graydon, Ryan, Vince, and Terry. How dare you, Chris? So disrespectful. Hey, Jeremy, can you pull Terry's car back a little bit? No, Chris, start at the wall, and then when they go, you run back up to that spot. No, Chris. No. No. Okay. All right. You guys will live. Drivers ready. Marshall's ready. On tone. Less than 5. Chris, I wanted to see you sprint. So let's see if you could drag race the cars down the straight. I think you could.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Old Guys Rule, and Graydon Edwards.
Caution to Karen, caution to Karen.
After 1 minute left, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Old Guys Rule, and Graydon Edwards.
Dan with a little bit of a fumble. That's going to give Eric an opportunity to catch up. Great about
After
a
1
straightaway
minute
gap
31 seconds,
back from
the top
Eric.
drivers are Dan Jefferson, Old Guys Rule,
Ryan and Terry, the
Graydon
battle to
Edwards.
watch right now on the grid. Caution straightaway, wheelie out of Vince. Good to go. 2:15 on the clock. Caution after Chad. So Graydon now up to the 2, looks like. Eric drops back to the 3.
2 minutes left. After 2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Graydon Edwards, and Old Guys Rule.
.145 on the clock. Lots of time.
After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Graydon Edwards, and Old Guys Rule.
One minute on the clock.
One minute left. After 3 minutes 2 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Graydon Edwards, and Old Guys Rule. .45 seconds left. .30 seconds left. After 3
30
minutes
seconds
32
on the clock.
seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Old Guys Rule, and Graydon Edwards. .15 seconds left. Old Guys Rule done. Graydon Edwards done. Terry Brown done. Ryan Johnson done.
All right,
Dan
that's a
Jefferson
race. Oh, no, Vince is not. Never mind. And now we're done.
All drivers are finished. Vince
All
Lin
right,
done.
we'll be back
The
at
race is completed.
9:05, 9:10-ish.
Andrew Tuttle.
All right, let's get A main 17.5 drivers out of the track to Marshall. Looking for Andrew, Hunter, and Matt. Looks like you guys are already up on the stand. Let's go ahead and get you guys lined up on the straightaway. Again, A main 17.5 drivers, you are out to the track to Marshall. That means you, Graydon. Mr. Fast Guy. All right, probably don't need too many marshals for this. What's that? Yeah, Graydon's fast though, he'll get you. All right. Probably one more marshal. We get one more marshal over here. Thank you. All right. Drivers ready. Marshals ready. On the tone, less than 5.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Andrew Tuttle, Michael Jones, and Hunter Hoyt. After 1 minute,
3 minutes left.
The top drivers are Andrew Tuttle, Michael Jones, and Hunter Hoyt. After 1 minute 30 seconds, the top drivers are Andrew Tuttle, Michael Jones, and Hunter Hoyt. After 2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Andrew Tuttle, Michael Jones, and Hunter Hoyt. After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Andrew Tuttle, Michael Jones, and Hunter Hoyt. One minute left. After 3 minutes 1 second, The top drivers are Andrew Tuttle, Michael Jones, and Hunter Hoyt. 45 seconds left. Seconds left. After 3 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Andrew Tuttle, Michael Jones, and Hunter Hoyt. 15 seconds left.
Whatever. It's an hour out of your day. You'll be fine.
Oh, is that it? On a Sunday?
Yeah. Have you played? Can you skate? Okay, so you play on Tuesdays. That's
All drivers
bronze.
are finished.
Bronze plays Tuesdays.
Andrew Tuttle
I play,
done.
Silver B. Silver B is Sundays.
I was poor growing up and I didn't have skates.
What's that?
I was poor growing up and didn't
I
have
was too.
skates.
And then I was up until my dad got a new client, and then it changed everything. So yeah.
Yeah, so I've only skated like
The race is completed.
Yeah, I think I'd skated maybe 3 times before I started playing, because I didn't have skates, I didn't get ice time, and then I got older. My dad's like, okay, we're doing a little better off. We can. So, yeah. I pretty much learned how to skate this year. All right, 13.5 4-wheel. Let's go ahead and get drivers checked in. Let's get marshals out of the track. Eric, are you going to make this one?
The Dr. Love, Dan Jefferson, Vince Lim, Ryan Johnson, Chad Kramer.
Marshals. I'm going to need some volunteers out here. I need 2 to the
Todd
middle,
Murray.
1 up by me, and 1 at the end of the straightaway. All right, 2 more marshals. I get 2 volunteers, please. Anybody.
Old guys rule.
2 volunteer marshals, 2 volunteers. All right, no more speed. Straightaway's closed. Again, if I get 2 more volunteer marshals, please. 2 more volunteer marshals. Thank you, Graydon. Thank you, Chris. All right, order's going to go Dan, Eric, Vince, Ryan, Chad, Haas, and Todd. Again, Dan, Eric, Vince, Ryan, Chad, Haas, and Todd. All righty. Drivers ready. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate the effort this time. All right. Drivers ready. Marshals ready. On the tone. Less than 5.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Vince
Caution
Lim,
after
and
Chad.
Chad
Caution
Kramer.
after Chad. Clear. All right. Everyone's a little all over the place. Caution straight away. Clear. Caution at the chicane. Continue caution at the chicane. All right. After that little hiccup, we got Vince out in the 1, Chad in the 2, Dan in 3, Haas in the 4, Todd in the 5, Eric in the 6, Ryan in the 7. Caution straight away. Everyone all over the
3
place. This
minutes
is quite an
after 1
upset
minute,
from
1
the
second.
first race.
The top drivers are Vince Lim, Chad Kramer, and Dan Jefferson.
Deep breaths, everybody. Blink and breathe. All right, 2:40 on the clock. Vince leading us around. Chad in 2, Haas in 3, Dan in the 4, Eric in the 5, Ryan in the 6, Todd in the 7. Vince has got a
After 1 minute
2.8-second
31
lead on
seconds,
Chad
the
right
top
now.
drivers are Vince
Chad's
Lim,
got a
Chad Kramer,
3-second
and Dan
lead on
Jefferson.
Dan. Dan's got a 1.4-second lead on Eric. Everyone's spread out. 2:10 on the clock. Can Vince and Chad hang on? They're going to need to work together if they want to hold on to that position.
2 minutes left.
Eric's
After
got
2
the
minutes,
fast lap
1
of a
second,
13.5,
the top
so he's
drivers
got
are
the
Vince
pace.
Lim, Chad Kramer, and Dan Jefferson.
So Eric now up in the 3. Dan drops down to the 4 spot. Chad, 2.2-second lead now over Eric. Vince, let's see you next time by.
After 2 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Vince
Vince got
Lim,
about
Chad
a 2,
Kramer,
almost
and
3-second
Old Guys
lead.
Rule.
Chad is closing that gap, though. Eric and Dan slowly but surely closing the gap on Chad. He's got to hold on for 1 minute 10 seconds. About a straightaway gap between them now. 1 minute on the clock. Caution on the straightaway. Caution on the straightaway. That's going to
1
tighten
minute
it.
left.
1, 2, 3, and
After
4
3
up
minutes
now.
2 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim,
They got
Chad
55
Kramer, and
seconds
Old
on
Guys
the
Rule.
clock. Eric taps out.
45 seconds left.
Dan has closed the gap. He's going to be within striking distance of Chad. Chad taps out, gets back in it, though. He's only going to drop down 1 spot.
30 seconds
Vince has got
left.
30 seconds
After
to
3
hold
minutes
on.
32 seconds, the top
They will get
drivers are
probably
Vince Lim,
2
Dan
more laps
Jefferson,
here.
and Chad Kramer.
He's got a back marker buffer at least, and that's not going to hold up. They're going to get
15
this. They
seconds
might
left.
get one more. We'll see. Dan has closed that gap now. Vince is going to need to hold on. Down the straightaway, they're going to get one more lap.
Chad Kramer done. Old Guys Rule done.
Caution straightaway,
Ryan
caution
Johnson
straightaway.
done.
Dan
The Dr.
looking for
Love done.
anything.
Todd Murray done.
Vince just needs to hold on. Dan goes inside. Vince on the
All drivers are
outside.
finished.
All the way
Vince Lim
down.
done.
Vince is going to take that
Dan
one.
Jefferson done.
That 0.037 seconds was the gap.
The
That
race is
was something
completed.
else. Nicely done, you two. That was a good battle. All right, 21-5's up. That was cool. Nicely done, you guys. Vince, nerves of steel all the way through that. Oh, boy.
Graydon Edwards.
That was fun. Right, that
Terry Brown.
Dan, you are 0.037 back.
David Pyle.
That was. Oh, I know. That was
Sam
going to be
Moore.
everything.
Fred Williams.
All right, let's go ahead and get drivers checked in. I think that's going to be the highlight of the evening.
Jeremy Smedley. Seth Rhodes.
All right, we've got checks on everyone. Let's go ahead and get lined up on the straightaway. Order's going to go Terry, Graydon, Seth, David, Sam, Fred, and Jeremy. Short course is up after this. All right, I need a marshal at the other end of the driver's stand. If I get one more marshal at the other end of the driver's stand. Thank you, Eric. All right. Driver's ready. Marshall's ready. On the fourth tone. Here we go. Caution sweeper, stay inside, stay inside, stay inside, stay inside. Stay inside, stay inside, stay inside, stay inside, stay inside, stay inside.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Graydon Edwards, David Pyle, and Seth Rhodes.
Caution at Karen, caution at Karen. Not sure what's going on this evening. Everyone falling apart in the last main. Everyone's falling apart. I don't know what's going on. We should have done... Looking like we should have done single mains tonight. I don't know what happened to everybody.
And David Pyle.
Must have been a long week. 2:50 on the clock. All right, we got Seth out in the 1, Graydon in the 2, Sam in the 3, Terry in the 4, Jeremy in the 5. David looks like he tapped out. Fred in the 7. Maybe no, looks like David's back in. Not sure what happened there. So Sam, you're going to have the 2 car coming up on you here.
The top drivers are Seth Rhodes, Graydon Edwards, and Terry Brown. After 2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Terry Brown, Seth Rhodes, and Graydon Edwards.
.135 on the clock. Terry leading us around 7 and 2, Graydon in 3, Jeremy in 4, Sam in the 5, Fred in the 6,
After
David
2
in the 7.
minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Terry Brown, Seth Rhodes, and Graydon Edwards.
One minute on the clock.
1 minute left. After 3 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Terry Brown, Seth Rhodes, and Graydon Edwards.
Straight away, straight away, straight away. Caution sweeper, stay wide on the sweeper, stay wide on the sweeper.
45 seconds left.
Caution to Karen, caution to Karen. Not sure what was going on there. Yeah?
30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Terry Brown, Seth Rhodes, and Graydon Edwards. "15 seconds left.
I have no idea what's going on this time around. It means that everybody's just driving not great.
Graydon Edwards done. Terry Brown done.
Keep going, keep going.
Jeremy Smedley done. Sam Moore done. Seth Rhodes done. David Pyle done.
Track's still alive, track's still alive.
All drivers are finished. Fred Williams done. The race is completed.
13.5 short course is up.
It was worth it.
Well, I want to watch that replay, you know? Yeah.
Vince Lim. Brent Edwards. Chris Morrison. Andrew Tuttle. Todd Murray. Jeremy Becker.
All right, I got checks on everyone. Let's go ahead and get lined up on the straightaway. All right. Let's That is unfortunate. All right, let's go. How many can we go across there? Seth, can you line them up and see how many you can go wide? Idler or Spur? That's what it sounds like, but yeah. There we go. That's the right way to do this. Hey, Chris. That's okay. I don't think that's going to be the deciding factor here. All right. Driver's ready. Marshall's ready. On the tone, less than 5. There we go. All right. That's a short course start if I've ever seen one. Come on, Andrew. You got this. You got this. Don't let Chris beat you.
After 30 seconds, the
Come
top
on,
drivers
Jeremy.
are Jeremy Becker,
Make a run
Chris
for it.
Morrison, and Andrew Tuttle.
You got the torque and the acceleration on him. Use it. Close that gap. Close that gap. Close that gap. Ah. Andrew just to rub some dirt in there. All right.
After
Andrew, I'd like to
3
see you do
minutes
that with the new
left, top
body.
drivers are Chris Morrison, Jeremy Becker, and Andrew Tuttle.
That was unfortunate. Chris waiting courteously to get caught up in some chaos. No one wants to land that back jump, though. Brent and Jeremy, the battle to watch. Not necessarily in a race, but just like in general.
After 1 minute 30 seconds,
This is why I like
the
club
top
racing.
drivers are Chris
fun.
Morrison, Jeremy Becker,
It's
and
just a
Andrew
good
Tuttle.
time. Also might have been why I decided not to run my truck. All right, 2:05 now on the clock. Chris lead us around. Jeremy in the 2, Todd in the 3, Andrew in the 4, Brent in the 5.
After 2 minutes left, the top drivers are Chris Morrison, Jeremy Becker, and Todd Murray.
Save that for after racing. You guys can do that in the parking lot. Thank you, Seth. At least someone appreciated my joke. I was a little concerned there. Caution sweeper, caution sweeper.
After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Chris Morrison,
Here we
Jeremy
go,
Becker,
here we go.
and Andrew Tuttle.
Andrew up 2 spots in that corner. Minute 20 on the clock. It's okay, they're friends. Let them do. I think they need to finish the race like that.
1 minute left. After 3 minutes 1 second, the top
All
drivers
right.
are Chris Morrison, Jeremy Becker, and Andrew Tuttle.
Chris wanting some carnage for himself over here. Yeah? What's that?
45 seconds left.
Before the next round. I
30 seconds
think
left.
we need to put a figure
After
8
3
track
minutes,
in one of these
32
days for a
seconds,
short course.
The top drivers are Chris Morrison, Jeremy Becker, and Andrew Tuttle.
Jeremy, I'm still waiting on your new General Lee body.
15 seconds left.
5 seconds.
Chris Morrison done.
Don't hit the marshals.
Todd
I'm
Murray
okay if
done.
you guys take each other out,
Brent
but don't take
Edwards
the
done.
marshals out, please.
Jeremy Becker done.
David is a nice guy. He didn't do
All
do
drivers
anything
are
to deserve
finished.
that. All right,
Andrew
that's a
Tuttle
race. Drop your cars off. Get
The
right
race
back
is
out to
completed.
Marshall. That was fun. B main two-wheel drive is up. So Haas, Chad, Chris, Todd, Jeremy, and Todd Murray. Oh, I know. Have you heard from him? He never messaged me or anything.
He's so busy. I heard from him only twice since he's left. And I had to reach out once.
Todd Murray.
All right, let's go ahead and get drivers checked in. Marshall's up to the stand. Or, wait, that was completely wrong. Marshall's out to the track. Drivers up to the stand. Whoa, I am losing it. Oh, boy.
The Dr. Love.
Todd, your car okay? Yeah.
Todd Powell. Michael Jones.
1 minute for Chad. All right, 1 minute call for Chad. 1 minute call for Chad. Marshall's out of the track, please. Marshall's out of the track.
I'd rather give away the overall and race with people rather than just like.
That's what I like about club racing short course.
Jeremy Becker.
It's just the best time. I have 3 bodies. I have a competition body. I have my beat the shit out of it body. And then I have my nice body for like clean racing. My red and black body. That the old body. One more Marshall. One more Marshall. Yeah, that one stays in my truck in case we decide to have a race like that. Then I put that body on. And I have my my regular red and white body. That's my typical race body. And then if we're having like a big event and I want something really nice, I grab my really nice body. But that one doesn't come out very often. This also has a lot. It's really heavy.
Chris Morrison.
Has all the paint and stuff. So it's not the most efficient race body. It's typically for podium fiction.
Wait, that'd be really cheating because really you're taking off your body that you had on and putting on it.
Chad Kramer.
All right. Order's going to go Haas, Chad, Chris, Todd Powell, Jeremy, Todd Murray, and Michael. Can I get one more Marshall in the middle? One more Marshall in the middle. Yeah, we'll do 4 wide for this. No, Graydon, can I get you to go to the middle? Thank you. All right, drivers ready, Marshall's ready. On the tone, less than 5.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are the Dr. Love, Chad Kramer, and Chris Morrison.
All right, Haas out in the 1, Chad in the 2, Chris in 3, Todd Powell in the 4, Todd Murray in the 5, Michael in the 6, Jeremy in the 7.
After 1 minute left, the top drivers are the Dr. Love, Chad Kramer, and Chris Morrison.
Chris hanging on by 2 wheels there. He's got the pace. He's just got to hang. Todd Powell's not an easy guy to keep behind you. Chad going up in the 1. Clean overtake down the straight. Haas goes back to Chris in the 3, Todd in the 4. Looks like Jeremy in the 5, Michael in the 6.
After 1 minute 30 seconds, the top drivers are Chad Kramer, the Dr.
you need
Love,
some?
and Chris Morrison.
You need anything? All right. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, absolutely. See ya. 2:15 on the clock.
After 2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Chad Kramer, the Dr. Love, and Chris Morrison.
.145 now on the clock. Chad leading us around. Haas in the 2, Chris in the 3, Todd in the 4, Jeremy in the 5, Michael in the 6. Chris hanging on for dear life. Todd right there with him. Chad not that. Chad and Haas not far away
the top
though.
drivers are Chad
Less
Kramer,
than a straightaway.
the
They
Dr.
gotta
Love,
hang on.
and Chris Morrison.
Chris and Todd are closing that gap. Chad taps out. That's going to drop him back 2 spots. That's put him down to the 3 spot. Chris goes up to the 2. Haas in the 1. Todd's still in that 4 spot. Todd taps out, but I don't think he's going to lose
1
position
minute
here.
left. After 3
He
minutes
had about
2
a whole
seconds,
track's length
the
ahead
top
of Jeremy.
drivers are the Dr. Love, Chris Morrison, and Chad Kramer.
Might cost him, though, any chance of catching back up. 45 seconds on the clock.
45 seconds left.
Caution at Karen. Caution at Karen. Clear.
30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are the Dr. Love, Chris Morrison, and Chad Kramer.
Chad upset there. Chad's going to go up to the 1. Haas to the 2. Chris in the 3. With 15 seconds left on the clock. Haas taps out there on the last lap. That's going to move Chris up
Chad
to the
Kramer
2
done.
spot.
Jeremy Becker done. Chris Morrison done. The Dr. Love done.
Chris
Michael
barrel rolling
Jones
through
done.
the finish line.
All drivers are finished.
All right, that's the race. Drop your
Todd
cars off. Get
Powell
right
done.
back out to Marshall.
The
Last
race is
race of the
completed.
night. Stock buggy A1 or A2. Sorry. No, that was a good run.
Here, Todd, I see a blue one right here. Is it you? Are you blue?
Hinge pin?
Oh, I thought you said wheel nut. Sorry.
Yeah, those are Kevin's, I think.
I don't know about hinge pin.
If it's blue, it's probably Kevin's. And it's on his pit.
Dan Jefferson.
Yep. Notice I put a crawler pit mat on his pit. Notice I put a crawler pit
Braden
mat on his
Edwards.
pit.
Old guys rule.
It'll make him faster at getting over the pipes.
Vince Lim.
Thank you. Yeah, he's going to do solid axle for his 4-wheel. He's going to do solid axle for his 4-wheel.
Terry Brown.
All right, let's get Ryan checked in, then we good to go.
Ryan Johnson.
All right, we got checks on everyone. Let's go ahead and line up on the straight. Order's going to go Dan, Eric, Graydon, Ryan, Vince, and Terry. Again, Dan, Eric, Graydon, Ryan, Vince, and Terry. All right. Drivers ready. Marshall's ready. On the tone, less than 5. Sweeper, 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 clear. That's kind of how I'm feeling.
After 30 seconds,
And that's
the
what I'm
top
like, I
drivers
wanted
are
to
Dan
run stock
Jefferson,
tonight, but
Old Guys Rule,
I did.
and Graydon
I need to get my
Edwards.
motor tuned and stuff, and my car is just still a little worn out from this weekend. It's like my car is fast, but I know it can get a little bit more out of it. I need to shave some weight in a couple spots. So
I want to buy a couple.
now that I know that car is a designated stock car, I'm gonna set it. I'm gonna shed weight on it and stuff and get it a little bit more dialed to stock.
Yeah, I'm 9 grams over right
Because I was gonna put it back.
After
to
1
the
minute
shaft
left,
car
the
has
top
to be
drivers are
stock
Dan
car, so-
Jefferson, Old Guys Rule,
Yeah, so
and
I
Graydon
figured
Edwards.
just go all in on the stock car and get it. Because I'm mod weight in that thing. It's like 15.5. You know,
Yeah.
it's so heavy.
Yeah, I'm 1485.
Oh wow, yeah. All right, 2:40 on the clock. Dan leads us around. Eric in the 2, Ryan in 3, Terry in the 4, Graydon in the 5, Vince in the 6.
I was thinking about buying just like several, like 17.5 MP5s, and then like
After 1 minute 31 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Old Guys Rule, and Ryan Johnson.
the ones I have are tuned from Dan.
Okay.
Both of them in both my cars.
Yeah.
So they're pretty fast.
Yeah,
I know I could find a better one.
yeah,
Closer pulls and stuff.
yeah. Dan's gonna tune mine for me.
Yeah. He does pretty good.
Mine is just out of the box. I haven't done anything to it. So, because I wasn't planning on sticking with stock, I was like, oh, I'll just do it for a little bit and then I'll go back to mod.
I like it.
But
2 minutes
I know I
left.
can,
After
like,
2
boogie
minutes
in
1
stock, and
second,
I know I can be a
the top
fast
drivers are
driver.
Dan Jefferson,
Uh,
Old Guys Rule, and Ryan
I
Johnson.
mean, mod's my sweet spot. I just need to get back to it, but I don't want to change my buggy again to go back and forth because it's kind of a pain. So that's why I want the shaft car to be a designated mod car where I can really get it comfortable for mod. Because it's just too much to go back and forth on the same chassis. Like my chassis is so reactive. Yeah, like my buggy's so reactive.
After
for
2
stock,
minutes
which is great,
31
but it's
seconds,
too
the
reactive
top
for mod.
drivers are Dan Jefferson,
And then it doesn't hold
Old
the speed
Guys
line
Rule,
very good.
and Ryan Johnson.
It's like it's great on the infield, which is where stock matters, but kind of useless on the straightaway. So 1:14 on the clock. Dan still leads around Eric in the 2, Ryan in 3, Gray in 4, Terry in 5, Vince in 6. 1:05 on the clock. Yeah.
1 minute left. After 3 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Old Guys Rule, and Ryan Johnson. "45 seconds left.
It's same as me, yeah.
"30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Old Guys Rule,
20
and
seconds
Ryan
now
Johnson.
on the clock.
"15 seconds left.
I'm just hoping I get my motor back before Friday next week.
Are we done with the speed series on Wednesday? That was a fine.
Vince Lim done.
It might be.
Dan Jefferson
I
done.
haven't been part of the series. I've been racing Wednesdays. I've been
Ryan
racing
Johnson done.
myself, so.
Terry Brown done. Graydon Edwards done. All drivers are finished. Old Guys Rule done.